Alright, what's going on, guys? Try back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video leading up to the second half of The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on the release date and also a petition from fans to fire Scott Gimple. And spoiler warning, as per usual, if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to The Walking Dead Season 8's mid-season finale. So, we've got the premiere date for the second half of The Walking Dead Season 8. We know when it's going to actually return on AMC. Of course, will be a Sunday, and that's going to be February 25th. So, a little bit later than usual. You know, this starting closer to the end of February. We're usually used to seeing a little earlier, but hey, what can you do? Also, The Walking Dead went a little bit later this year, considering it just kind of wrapped up. So it went into December, 2 weeks, first week, and then this so the 10th. So as a result, it sounds like season 8's kind of been a little bit pushed back, but it's okay. You know, it's fine, and it will be a bit of a wait. Let's count the weeks. So we got today. We got 1, 2, and then January 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, like 9, almost 10 weeks. So like nine and a half weeks. So what are we going to do in the meantime? I don't know. So, we'll be continuing to produce videos with you guys. We'll be continuing to talk about The Walking Dead. Maybe not every day, Of course, there might not be enough to talk about to absolutely produce a video every single day leading up to the second half with you guys. But of course, we'll have the Walking Dead comic book series to touch on. I'll probably aim to do, catch up on some top 5s, top 10s, things like that. And we'll definitely produce, I would say, at least a few, like 3, 4, 5 Walking Dead videos per week with you guys. Probably more. Usually we do even more. Of course, Fear is going to be exciting this year because we know they're doing the crossover. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll probably do lots of videos for that, and let's hope, fingers crossed, that Fear this year with season 4 returns after The Walking Dead ends. I didn't really like it last year how they had The Walking Dead ended, and then it was a while until Fear started. I kind of like it better if they can do it to where The Walking Dead ends, and then you have Fear either the next weekend, or maybe you have a week or a couple weeks in between, then you have it back, rather than kind of these big, separation periods. So let's see what they end up doing. Should be good, though. So February 25th, mark down your calendars, guys. So as far as the petition goes, a lot of people have asked my thoughts on this one. Okay, so it says, this is from comicbook.com, while some fans are holding out hope for creative decisions to be altered following backlash regarding the impending death of Carl Grimes, 50,000 of which have signed a petition on the subject. The AMC series has already filmed each of its returning episodes and will not have the ability to change any of the storyline. One thing they can control, however, is the gap between The Walking Dead and its sibling series, Fear the Walking Dead. So 50,000 people have signed a petition to try to fire Gimple. I don't know what to say about this one, guys. It's crazy. It's like, really? Come on. You really think that's... Because the thing is, you got to understand as well, too, right? Is that, you can kind of blame him, I guess. You can put it all on him and blame him for anything that happens with Walking Dead, really, right? So, with the TV series, that is. Not the comic series, the TV series. You can do that if you want to. You can play that game. But the thing is, too, is that he's got to make... There's a lot of things that go on here that behind the scenes we don't necessarily know about. Is it possible that maybe they weren't that happy with Chandler Riggs' performance in season 7? Is it, the fact that his age was so different? Was it really that much of a sticking point for the writing team of just how they have it make sense with regards to Rick's decisions in this second half? Is it really that hard to kind of do? And did they need something like this? So there's a lot of, questions about this one, about why, we saw Carl be killed off. I've done lots of videos on it last week with you guys, and we've all pretty much given our thoughts, whether it be for ratings boosts or just because they felt like, or maybe the show might not go on for that long, so they're not really too worried about a few years down the road. They want to keep people watching now, and they want to keep things going now. Could be pressure from AMC bigwigs down to Gimple to make things happen and keep people watching. And so there's a lot of possible reasons as to why, they would do it. And of course, we blame him, but like I did a throwback review for Clear, which is one of the best episodes of The Walking Dead, I think, really overall, it really is. That's one of his episodes, right? And some people are like, Trev, why didn't you mention that? I thought we all kind of knew that at this point. That's one of his episodes. I've said it before many times. A lot of the Shane stuff, he wrote some of the best episodes for Shane, in the whole series. He's one of the people that I would say really, with regards to the TV series, made the Walking Dead TV series a success. Without him, we really don't know if the Walking Dead would have gotten to this point. And people bring up, well, it was great when they had Frank Darabont, it was great when they had Glenn Mazzara, and that's awesome. But the thing is that we don't know if, for example, Frank Darabont would have stayed on, how many years he would have wanted to do, what that would have looked like, how the series would have been different. If Glenn Mazzara stayed on instead of leaving after season 3, would they have burned through all the comic book content so fast? Would it have been even more disorganized and chaotic than it was later on? So, I don't think we should really give him too much flack. I think we should be happy that he has run the show since season 4. He's done a lot of work on the series, and, he's decided in this case that it makes more sense to kill Carl off. I'm sure he has his reasons, and I suspect and I think it's not just for the sake of the story and Rick's decision, but I think there's more to it than that. Maybe he just felt like what they were trying to do with Carl wasn't working. Like if he watched back some of those episodes and he was like looking at it like this doesn't work the same way as it did in the comics. It doesn't work on screen the same way. So yeah, and then also as well too, downward pressure to make these kind of things happen and keep people watching and glued. Having big character deaths certainly I would think would help with that. I mean, look at the buzz after, Carl was revealed to be bitten. I mean, it just exploded, right? It was just crazy, the amount of buzz compared to what it was a couple episodes prior when it was like, yeah, the action's great, but having a big character death like that in the middle, it's certainly, if they're worried about the series kind of keeping its pace, it's certainly doing as much as they can do to really try to keep the numbers going. So I don't really support the whole, let's fire Gimple thing, because even if you hate this decision with Carl, you got to recognize that he made so many other decisions earlier that were awesome. Rick and Michonne being together was all him, right? He's the one who made that happen. He's the one who saw that. He's the one who went for that. And Robert Kirkman has said so in interviews that was all him pretty much. A lot of the things that are in the series that really worked well is all his stuff. Everything with Morgan, I think you could probably attribute to him and Lenny James, like the two of them, and any of the writers that were involved too. But the two of them really are the ones that have, I think, lifted Morgan from this comic book series character that really didn't mean much, that was really like forgettable, to the TV series version of Morgan, who is one of the best Walking Dead characters, I have to say. Really is. So, we'll see what happens, guys. Let's see how it turns out, before we jump to conclusions or try to do stuff like that. I know a lot of you guys are pissed off. You didn't like the Carl death. That's understandable for sure. And it would have been cool to see him kind of grow up and be the future of the series and see what we expected to see. So I am a little bit disappointed they decided to go this route, but I'm sure that I'm sure that he had his reasons for it, and we'll see in the second half how this all comes together, and we'll see how we feel after that. We can't judge it too quickly, as it's still, it's still kind of early after it just happened. So, and then it says, should the sibling series be deep enough into production, it may well begin 1 week after The Walking Dead Season 8 concludes. That's what I'm hoping for. Serving as a continuation of the story in the form of Morgan's collision with Madison and company. Well, that would be cool. I still think it's going to be the prequel, but we'll see what they do with it. It says here in quotes, the things that the writers are doing with Morgan and the way that they're navigating, it's not really a spoiler alert, but the way that Morgan transitions through the crossover is really, really interesting, James said. The springboard that goes from The Walking Dead to Fear is a real ... He goes with some kind of trajectory. It is a full, well thought out journey that Morgan goes on. A lot of it is tied to his relationship with Rick. A lot of it is tied to his relationship to this group of people that he feels conflicted about, caring for, and wanting to protect. Also worth considering, however, are the pair of delays production of The Walking Dead's 8th season experience. So if you guys remember that too, that's true as well. Over the summer, the AMC series had to halt production when a stuntman, John Bernecker, lost his life after a tragic accident on set. Later, the series would delay its work due to a hurricane. coming through Georgia. Neither delays lasted more than a couple of days, but may have been enough to keep the show from being ready for a Valentine's Day weekend return like usual. So, it's what it is. I thought I would include it in this video for you guys, as well as the petition thing. I guess it's kind of funny. So, I don't really support the petition, to be honest, at this point. He's done it so much for the series. We got to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think, at this point. We're into the 8th season, guys. Let's just be happy it even got here. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be happy we got to season 8 with the series, because at the rate things were going in the 2nd season, firing showrunners, and then the season 3 with all the craziness that happened there, them making snap judgments, snap decisions about what to do. Like, if you guys didn't know, the Andrea death in the end of season 3, that was like a last-minute decision, according to the actress who played Andrea. So, like, she said that he pretty much, Glenn Mazar had like called her like the night before, or something like this, and pretty much had decided. They also ran out of script. They ran out of material, so they had to like delay production for season 3, and there was just all these crazy issues behind the scenes that you can kind of look into if you want to know. But yeah, let's just be happy that after season 3, he took over the show. He gave us season 4, he gave us season 5, he gave us season 6, season 7, and now we're into season 8. Plus, 2 of those seasons, I think personally, season 5 and season 6, I think are the best of the show, and those are both his seasons, right? Like, he was showrunner during those seasons. So let's look at it that way, guys, and try not to hate him just because he's killing off some of our favorite characters. I get it. He's got to play the bad guy, right? He's got somebody's got to die, right? He chooses to, and everybody gets mad at him, depending on the choice. But this same kind of thing happened with Beth, if you guys remember. Speaking of season 5. When they killed Beth off, there was like this team delusional thing, and they had like the petition stuff. Like, guys, they're not going to change deaths, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen. Okay, let's just put it that way. Basile G says, and we'll do some questions for today's video as well, guys. You guys can keep sending them to me as well, so we keep making the videos daily or every couple days at least. Hey, Trev, would have been cool to see Carl grow up and take on the main role from his father. I wonder what they have planned now. And yeah, it's a really good question, man. Maybe Scott wants to create his own Carl. He wants to kind of let that one go because it didn't really work out the same way as it did in the comics. And Chandler Riggs grew up faster than he should. As far as those scenes go, maybe it is true that they don't quite work the same way as they do with a younger kid. If you look at Lizzie or you look at possibly Henry, we're going to see what they do with him. When you take someone who's innocent, who's very young, that kind of an age, and you have him behave that way, it's different than when you take someone who's even a few years older. Like Chandler Riggs is not that old right now. He's only like 18, right? So he's there, like 17, I would think, last year when he was filming season 7. So maybe it just doesn't work the same if you have someone who's 17 or if you have someone who's 11 or something like that. It doesn't have the same effect maybe. So that's what I'm thinking it is right here, is that maybe the age difference, everything together as well too, could just kind of bring it all into where he's like, okay, we got to do this. So that's what they decide to do. So I'm interested, but it worked out for Andrea. If you guys remember, a lot of us were really mad when they killed Andrea off, and it did kind of suck, I do have to admit, because I wanted to see her in the series longer. It would have been really cool. But instead, they gave it to Michonne. They had Rick and Michonne go together, and it just fit in perfectly. It fit like a glove. It worked just fine, and maybe better than it would have even worked with Andrea. So it's what it is. So let's see what happens now, and let's see who they use for the rest of Carl's stuff in the series. And what they do, and if the TV series version can kind of create their own sort of super badass kid that is reminiscent of the comic book series version of Carl, because maybe they just felt like Chandler Riggs' his version of Carl is not the same, right? It's just simply not the same. Torrid says, hey Trev, why did Michonne give Carl free reign, stating it was his show? Do you think she will feel guilt over that decision? I called it, man. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, that is such a Gimple thing to do. And it may not have been him who wrote it. I don't know who did. But I was like, to having, like, reinforcing, like telling him it's his show and then killing him off immediately afterwards. That is such a freaking Gimple thing to do, because he's done that before so many times. And at this point, when I see him do stuff like that in episodes, I'm going to think, okay, something bad's going to happen to that character. Like, he sets it up, and then he go, so, like, he messes with us, right? He does. They mess with us, not just him, but the whole right. They mess with us, right? They let us think something. They lead us down this path, and then boom, they go that way, and it's like, oh man, like I thought you just said this was Carl's show, and now he's dead. What is going on here, right? So, so it's man, that's pretty. That's what they do, man. They misdirect us sometimes on purpose. I guarantee it was on purpose. But there's some other dialogue in there that's very interesting too. Like when Carl says that something about, I have to watch the episodes back to get the exact quote, but I think I will because I think it's important. He says that a man's got to go his own way, or some of this, like he's got to go his own way. And that just makes me think, like, did he has to leave the show? Like, like that. It sounded so meta, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It wasn't that long ago. Shit, I don't remember the quote off the top of my head. I'll look back on it, and I'll mention it in a video coming up this week. But you guys can post it in the comments below if you want to, on exactly what Carl says. But I remember when I did the review, I was like, man, that is so freaking meta for him, like, deciding to leave the show because he's got to go his own way and he wants to be different. He wants to do things his way and you go to college or whatever, do this kind of thing. So I'm really confused by the whole situation because when I heard that, I was in the episode, I was like, oh man, they're totally like, this is totally like an Easter egg for the actor right now to leave, because we all assumed he was leaving of his own accord and he wanted to go do other things and he didn't want to work on The Walking Dead all the way through, which is what we all thought. It was really weird afterwards to hear him come out and say, no, I wanted to stay on the show and they killed me. I was like, okay, because even that line in there is like so strange to me. So I'm just, I'm not sure, man. Maybe negotiations or something. Maybe the AMC or they got the idea that he wasn't really like, he didn't really want to, I don't know. That's really tough, man. Maybe they wanted to kill him for his contract, I don't know. Negotiations, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. Anyway, so just kind of rambling at this point. Yeah, man. So that was kind of cool, though. So next one will be from Zahir Me Out, who says, plot twist, Carl is fine. Enid just gave him a stomach hickey before she left. So that's funny. I've actually heard that a lot of times now. Like, oh, it's a whisper who bit him or something like that. It's like, I don't think so. And let's see what else we got for this one. Last one will be from Woot Pie, who says, so will Benjamin's brother Henry become the TV series version of Comic Carl? He fits the age of Comic Carl, about 12, so it makes sense. And I think for Woot Pie, yeah, I think so, man. I think that's, it really looks like it right now. I mean, they could bring somebody else in or give it to a few different characters, but right now, it really looks like he's like Carl 2.0. Easy. I mean, I did a video on it even before Carl was killed off because it had been spoiled what was going to happen. So, yeah, I think so. I think that's what we're going to see. Henry will probably be the future Carl, and that's how it'll probably go. So we'll see how badass he turns out and what it all feels like. But, yeah, write your comments below, guys. We can still speculate on this one. Just such a strange one. I mean, we've done lots of videos on this one, but still, it's just crazy, man. They actually fully killed Carl. It's just nuts. So that'll be it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. You can also share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, and you can do it at the bottom. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. I'll see you soon. Just subscribe somehow.